Well, we're in conversation with the Chief Design Officer Pratap Bose, who's now marking his 1 year here at Mahindra and Mahindra. Congratulations, Pratap,
Thank
on
you.
the launch of the new Scorpio. I
Thanks,
have to
Renuka.
say, it does look completely different. A lot of different elements. While the earlier Scorpio was very slab-like and had very straight square lines, this is quite a departure. It's quite different. So just talk us through this philosophy and why the styling has changed and why you all didn't retain the large straight square lines that the earlier one had.
Renuka, I think it's, in my mind, it's very clear, very simple. The world has changed. The world has changed around us, design has changed, and most of all, the customer has changed, right?
Yeah.
Today, the customer wants a level of sophistication, a level of finesse, a level of, sort of a sense of arrival, which is very different from 20 years ago, where cars were a little more of A to B. In fact, Scorpio originally broke that and brought in lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think this really moves the game on. And what we were able to do, Renuka, with the new G3 architecture, because everything is wider, taller, you anyway have a lot of space in that car, and that allowed us to give the car a little more tumble, a little more, how can I say, a little less linearity,
Yeah.
without sacrificing the strength of what that brought.
Yeah.
So I think that balance was important. That whenever you are redesigning an icon, I always feel you should retain the DNA,
Yeah.
but not be slave to it.
Yeah.
You can start at a certain place, but you don't have to end up there.
Yeah.
You should take it to another place.
Yeah. So talk us through some of the key elements of the Scorpio. We can take a little walk around
Yeah.
it, and you can tell us what you think are the key elements, for the people and the thought behind designing them.
So Renuka, I love, first you can't talk about a car, at least an IC engine car, without talking about the grille, because
Yeah.
that's the real face of the car, the nose and the mouth of a car, So the grille's got these 6 chunky elements with a chrome finish. It's our Mahindra, let's say, design element, but
Yeah.
done in a new, more sophisticated way. Of course, the reverse, sort of air dam. But what defines for me is the optics of that face. These two, double barrel lamps, which look very purposeful and promise performance. I mean, don't forget, Velu's team has put an incredible set of engines in there, has re-engineered the entire architecture to give you the dynamics that this car, gives you. The eyes are the window to that
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
And what I love the most, I think, are the Scorpion tail DRLs. DRLs, Renuka, are becoming the daytime signature of a car.
Correct.
And you can see this car from 200, 300 meters away, and you will know it's a Scorpio-N.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very, very cool element.
Yeah.
Then when you come around the side, all the muscle has been sort of moved onto the metal of the car. Earlier, you remember, it was on the plastic cladding.
Yeah.
The plastic is minimal, very, very well finished. It comes together beautifully on the car.
And even the crease lines are less sharp than they were before. They're
That's
a
right.
lot
They're more
softer.
subtle, because when you talk about the muscle, I compared this to a swimmer's shoulder. When you talk about the muscles are defined.
Yeah.
But you don't see edges, right,
Yeah.
on a body. So everywhere you run your hands over, there's that sense of that muscle, but it's less geometric. Absolutely.
Yeah, and flat window line is gone again, because the earlier Scorpio had a very flat window
Yes,
line. You now
yes.
kink up towards the rear. It's
We kick
more
up,
contoured.
but the good thing is that you don't lose any visibility from the inside. In fact, when you sit inside the car, Renuka, as you probably did, you can see that your arm comes, on the window line actually,
Yeah.
because you're sitting quite high in the car, the command position. So we were able to do that without sacrificing light and the sense of claustrophobia. But it brings again a character. It kicks up and becomes that Scorpio tail,
Yeah.
or the sting, which
Yeah.
which is my most sort of favorite element of this car from this view. When you're sitting in traffic and you can only see windows of cars around you,
Yeah.
that will be really an iconic
The
little
Scorpion
element.
tail that you can see right here is this detail that Pratap is talking about.
Yeah, again, all the muscle here, it's there, but it's subtle. It's not screaming
Yeah.
in your face, and we love
You
that.
were talking about Velu-san putting this strong set of engines in. It's always a tussle between the engineering and the design departments. These are, stories I've heard age old through all the companies with people, that talk about how
Yeah.
difficult it is. How has that been in Mahindra for you? How has the transition been? And working with this engineering team, is it quite different?
I think you're right. There's always a conversation, as I like to call it. But I must say, in the architectures that I've seen in the company and what we are doing going forward, it's a very, very good place. That means the wheels are the right dimensions, they're in the right place around the car, the proportions it gives us. The seating position is very, very good, right from the 700 to the Scorpio-N and the products coming, So I think that's fundamentally understood within the MRV and US teams, that if you don't have architecture for the car in a certain way, I can't do a design miracle,
Yeah.
and that conversation is, I think, very open. It's very constructive. And in this case, like I said, we had 18-inch wheels. They're pushed really to the edges of the car.
Yeah.
And for a body-on frame, that's very, very difficult thing to achieve. So when
Yes.
Velu-san spoke about, not having that lateral movement, it wasn't only for dynamics and all of that. It actually helps us.
Yeah.
Look how close that is
Yeah.
to the body side.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
So even helps the design.
It helps the design.
Now, Pratap Bose has always been known to bring out these new materials and different things that we see in cars, and always something new. So is there something like that in the Scorpio, something that's very you?
So I like, for me, piano black is
Yeah.
is the new chrome, right?
Yeah.
So I've used, or with the team, we've used piano black quite, I won't say liberally, but
Yeah.
carefully.
We can open the doors and let them have a look inside.
So if you look at the window switch controllers, if you look at the center console, if you look at the grille itself,
Yeah.
piano black I've used instead of chrome. I think chrome you use just as an accent.
Yeah.
I know India is a very chrome loving country, but I think piano black plays a great counterfoil to chrome. And then the satin finishes, Renuka. I think Vijay and Rajesh spoke about how sophisticated this customer is becoming.
Yes.
They sit in premium, German, European, Japanese, Korean cars, and all this is already coming in. We've brought it to this segment, I think, for the first time, and it's beautifully done. It took a lot of hard work from all the teams, in fact, but it's great. Even on the center console, there's almost 5 or 6 different finishes,
Yeah.
but they're very, very carefully done, and that's something I think makes this a unique D segment product.
Great. And what were the challenges for you?
I think the challenge of getting any car from a sketch, so from a sheet of paper to a sheet of steel, are always the same, regardless of the brand. I mean, I've worked in quite a few OEMs now. To bring it to life with so many, let's say, boundary conditions around it, right? Manufacturability, cost, this engineering and design discussion. I think to be able to bring a car from a sketch to reality without diluting its pure original purpose that a designer drew on a piece of paper, to be able to bring that into, to be able to translate that is a challenge, but it's the most exciting part of car design. I can tell you, designs that end up only on paper are just that, but to be
Yeah.
able to bring it, into reality,
Yeah.
that people buy, use and fall in love with,
Yeah.
is a challenge I love.
I have to say that looking at the finishing and the fit and even edges and things inside
Yes.
the car, there's a lot of it that is very different from what we've seen before. So how much of this is Pratap Bose, paying attention to that last bit of finishing? I mean, sharp edges, shut lines, things like that. You're very particular about
Yes,
that.
I'm very particular, and Renuka, as you know, the last 5%, if you don't get that right, you can ruin a lot of good work that people have put in for years before,
Yeah.
So this car was, obviously practically designed by the time I joined the company, but I had that window of 12 to 14 months to really up the level of fit, finish, quality, perceived quality. We changed a lot of the colors, the materials, the finishes. to bring it really to this level that it is today. And I think it'll really surprise and delight customers. I really hope it does.
Absolutely. And we've been seeing a lot of teasers now of the work that you've been doing ground up. I think the exciting EV range that's coming up in the future.
Yeah.
How much of it will we really get to see soon, and how much of it is ready and already,
So Renuka, in August, we are going to show our vision for EVs. There will not be cars that we will sell from the next day. This is our direction.
The concepts, you mean?
But they will not be concept cars.
Okay.
They will be cars which we will put into production one after the other.
Okay.
And that's the big difference.
Okay.
And because many companies show a concept car and then 4 years later there's nothing there, or it's something very different they bring in. What we will show you in August is what you will see from us.
Well, you've been known to stick true to your concepts, so we hope to see that also very soon from you. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.